Hello everyone, and greetings. I'm Bluedragonfive, and with me is my esteemed colleague, Milanjeftic1992. Say hello, Milan.
Hello. I
Well,
am the sidekick in this situation. Hooray!
he's my Burt Ward, folks.
Ha ha! I'm the Watson to his Sherlock Holmes. Go right ahead, my friend.
Thank you. Well, today I thought we could review and discuss the film Wreck-It Ralph.
Your thoughts, my esteemed colleague.
All positive. But in all seriousness.
Go right ahead.
Well, I want to begin this by saying I agree with the critics on this film when they say it's the Toy Story for a new generation.
Interesting. I heard it said that this is a Toy Story. This is the Toy Story for gamers.
Well, that too. But when I say I agree with the new generation more because this film just captured the spark the original Toy Story in 1995 did, and that I just am astounded by and just am so happy about. Because it's just that feeling. It's that the logical logic that Toy Story had that was in that film that made it special, made it stand out, and they recaptured that for here, but for a different premise, for video games. Because, the logical logic, like, what do the toys do, and, like, realistic stuff, like saying, oh, that's what a toy would do if he was alive, or that's what a video game character would do after hours, or, that's how he would act in game life. That's the illogical logic, and it's just, overall, just a brilliant concept, I think.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And, people say, I have heard this criticism made, before the movie came out, that this was just going to be a giant, what's the right word to put this in? Just a giant nostalgia fest for middle-aged to early 30s, gamer nerds. But the gamer aspect of this doesn't really take center stage. Sure, it's about video games and video game characters, but mostly, Disney really took the Pixar approach of just, focusing more on the characters. And what do you think of the characters, Mr. Blue Dragon 5?
Oh, they are very, very well done, these characters. However, before I touch on, I just want to touch on a very important thing with the film. I think the most pivotal selling point for me, and I think, at least for me, in this film was a lot of people would instantly say, oh, man, there's a bunch of video game characters all at the same time, a bunch of licensing issues glazed over so we can have all these great characters cameo in the film or be in the film to make it feel like a real video game movie. What sold me when I saw the first trailer of this film, because I heard about it, I saw like the poster image of like this 8-bit character, Wreck-It Ralph. What sold me in the trailer was this kind of captured the spirit of Toy Story for me, but it was this moment. We see Ralph at a group villain meeting of sorts, and just that instantly sold me. It's just the idea of he's a bad guy who that's just his job. He's been doing that for 30 years. He's a bad guy in a game, but people see him as that. He's not. That premise was so brilliant to me. I absolutely loved it, and that's what went from that to completely just capture the spirit of the Toy Story films, but made it its own thing with the video games, which, again, this film's an honorary Pixar film in my book. It is just so good, and hopefully every film after this will keep doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, wow, that's high praise, and just that I do like that whole existential villain crisis. Being a villain not because that you're a bad guy, but because it's merely a job description. But yeah, that existential crisis, that whole idea of like, am I a bad guy because I play the bad guy? Like, no, it's really interesting. But how about we go through the characters and you can tell us what you think of them?
Certainly.
So let's start with the main guy, Ralph. What do you think of him?
Ralph is just this perfect everyman character. He's just actually in the original conception of the film, Ralph was made to be more. He was always in the overalls, but he's more monstrous. They decided to make him
more of a monkey.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I want to say, looking at the original storyboards for him, he looked more kind of Sully-ish. Just kind of this...
kind of a Sasquatch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just a lumbering monster, and he became more human to make him more relatable to us. And I thought that was a good move on their part. It's just he's basically a human guy with these really cool video game features, like these giant hands that can smash things, and he's just a big guy, and everyone thinks he's a hobo.
He kind of is, because he does live out in the dump.
Yeah, because his stump was moved.
Yeah, damn freaking people, freaking, construction workers destroying, the homes of residents. Anyway, just my nonsensical thing aside. Yeah,
I like how they all know their video game characters. Again, that's kind of the Toy Story premise. That was, we don't have a Buzz Lightyear in this film. They all know their video game characters. That's their lot in life. It's a day at the workplace.
Definitely, it's an interesting little thing because they kind of skip over the whole, I'm just a toy, and here they're just like, yeah, I'm a toy. I'm something created in the 80s. I'm cool, and it's just what was I gonna say? God, yeah, you keep talking. I have no words.
Yeah, it's just this. We don't exactly get the classic scene. It's raining, it's dark, it's at Sid House, and Buzz says, "What's the point? I'm a toy. I'm not a space ranger." This is what he's in the Safeway crate, and he's saying, "No, being a toy is the best. It's way better than being a space ranger. You get to bring joy and happiness to a kid who thinks you are just the best toy ever. You're making him happy. You're making everyone happy. It's just the best thing ever." And then you have that, and you kind of get that. That's what their lot in life is. Again, they're just making people happy. They're just doing their job, and that's Ralph. Eventually, that's his character arc. He's saying, "Look, it's not exactly that he's selfish. I'm with him instantly for the film. He's a very sympathetic character. I find."
Oh, definitely, yes.
Again, I've been doing the job for 30 years. It's like kind of like I'm not really a wrestling fan, but you have like a bad guy wrestler. He's not a bad guy. He just acts like that.
Yeah, he's just like a workaday schlub. They're just like, that's just what he does. But I also say I love Ralph because it's just like it's a very human kind of thing. That it's interesting that they are able to take these kind of human like problems like that adults can relate to and make kids understand them as well, and it's interesting. But
well, originally Fix-It Felix was going to be the protagonist of the film, but then they said that's basically where the film took off from. They were going to make a Fix-It Felix game was going to be the movie, but then they had the idea, hey, let's look at this from the villain's perspective, and it just took off from there, and it went to many wonderful places.
Yeah, that's a very freaking Pixar way of looking at things. I'm glad they went in that direction. But let's talk more about this movie because we're just
you're right,
kind of stuck on this one. Yeah, we're kind of stuck on this one point. But
you're correct.
Yeah. So what else is there to talk about? Oh yes.
Well, other characters.
The main. Oh, definitely. So, what other characters do you want to talk about?
Well, let's see. Well, we could talk about Vanellope.
Vanellope, she's the little cute girl, isn't she?
Vanellope on Sweets.
Oh yes, that's right. She is adorable. It's just the most adorable. People say she does a great 90, like the voice actress does a really great early
Sarah Silverman.
like late night. Yeah, they say that Sarah Silverman does a really great early late 90s cute character. And yes, there is kind of that vibe of like the late 90s to that kind of racing game, which is kind of, endearing and adorable. But yeah, I just love how lush these multiple, console, worlds are. Like you go from Wreck-It Ralph's kind of, early, like mid 80s, like Bits and Bob's game to
this King Kong Mario kind of, sort of game.
Yeah, to the kind of this wry commentary on, the first person shooters and how like ridiculously dark and not violent, but well, yes, dark and violent, but just how everything just kind of turned into that, and it just kind of became it took itself too seriously.
our three games basically kind of, it's 10 years apart for each of them. Ralph's in the 80s, Vanellope's in the 90s, and then we have Hero's Duty, which is kind of the 2000s, the war era game, like shoot the alien, sort of.
Yeah, it's really interesting because on that, like, what do you think of the sergeant?
Oh, Calhoun?
Yeah.
So it's it's Tamora Jean Calhoun, Sergeant Jean Calhoun. Anyway, Jane Lynch voices her, and this is probably my favorite character. Other than Ralph, it's probably my favorite character in the film. She just is so awesome in this film, and I love her backstory so much.
They just programmed her with the most tragic backstory ever.
That just cracks
me up.
Hilarious. Just that line itself, the most tragic backstory ever. And then you see it's like the most absurd thing, but that's comedy. It's just the most absurd thing.
It makes you laugh at post-traumatic stress disorder.
You're a dynamite gal.
They
see the guy keeps saying.
Oh my
God! Keeps saying it to her, and then she's like, she spins the plane out of control.
Yeah, it's hysterical because we're gonna be spoiling this movie, by the way.
Oh yes, we are.
Basically,
there are 2 bits in this film to spoil, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah, basically, it's funny that this movie kind of pitches, Mario versus that chick from Gears of War, like as a weird kind of, couple thing. And it's just like when they're finally getting married at the end of the film, they're just like all the soldiers have like their laser sights set on the window in the church, just in case. It's hysterical. Just some of the stuff in this film is just really heartfelt. The scene that really came out, is vivid in my mind. It's just the scene where King Candy basically lies to Ralph and saying like, if she wins the race, she'll glitch up the game and, the game will be turned off. But since she's a glitch, she won't be able to leave and she'll just be killed. And that's a really interesting
flashback. Remember that what if scenario? And she's like, beating the glass and then she's dying, basically.
Yeah. That's just King Candy, such a great villain. But just that scene where we'll talk about him later. But that scene where Ralph just has to destroy the cart. Oh, that's just like that's a deeply Pixar moment right there. That's just heart-wrenching.
Oh yeah, it's because that's the best part. You see both sides of the argument there, and like Vanellope's listening to him, but she doesn't care. She wants to win the race.
Like at least for once in her life.
Yep. We should. Yeah, I kind of glaze over this with Vanellope, but I think, Vanellope's thing that really makes her stand, because I can see where some people get annoyed by her, but overall I think she's great. She wins me over. Because at first I just thought she was going to meet him for like one scene, then just tag along with him through the journey. And because again, I think like everyone, I thought, judging from the trailer, and I think it's kind of blamed on the marketing, but in the trailer, I just assumed that, he's going to meet this character in this sugar rush and he's going to go game jumping through a bunch of other games. Then all these cameos are going to meet up at the end.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well, but it's a strangely very contained film. Not saying that it's a small vision because, the landscapes are lush and huge, but just it's a very contained film, which is just fascinating to me, but it's just such a tragedy. She's like this homeless girl living in this chocolate mountain. It's like
that line of hers, little homeless lady. I like to wrap myself in the wrappers like a little homeless lady. It's just a funny line.
It is like a little homeless lady. That is adorable. And then when she become, she turns out to be King Candy. Turns out to be a foreign video game character, not like in foreign form, but his game was decommissioned.
Yeah, so Turbo.
Turbo. He decommissioned. Hold on, we're running out of time. Hold on.
It also reminds me a lot of Roger Rabbit and Toontown, but just for video games. Kind of. There's this one place where all these video game characters can coalesce and just be in the same place where video game characters would gather, just to visit other games, after hours. Yeah, I love the bar set, but we'll get to. We can get to that now. Let's go through all the games. We start with Pac-Man. Yeah, that's where the therapy's being held, which is I think is really funny. You know, we see all these guys. We don't know what kind of room. We just know they're in just this little white room, and then the exit is just is our lead sponsor here is one of the ghosts from Pac-Man.
Indeed.
Then we have Fix It Felix Jr., the Nicelanders' place of dwelling. Well, of course, it's really great. I saw in the behind the scenes feature for this film that a lot of thought went into the set design, obviously, but with that, they basically boiled it down to shapes for the overall design of the world. For example, Fix It Felix Jr. is all squares. Even like there's the Ralph when he's beating down like all the bricks, or just whenever you see dust or the clouds or whatever, it's kind of cubed in its shape. Yeah. Yes. It's a world on edge. What? What? Sorry. Now we're on to one of my favorite sets, Tappers, the bar game. I absolutely love this one because just again, it's more of that illogical logic, just like the mundanity of it all. It's just these. At the beginning of the movie, you have like the Street Fighter guys. I hope I don't get lynched for that. It's Ryu, isn't it? The one in the white with the red headband. Yeah, Ryu. Anyway, yeah, you got some Street Fighter guys at the beginning. Say, once the arcade instantly closed, they say, "Hey, let's go to Tappers, get a drink," and you see him there. When Ralph's talking to the guy, and it's animated like a video game cutscene, him talking to the guy. I don't know, it's just brilliant. They say, wait a minute. Then you see how the game plays, and it's just really, really fun. And then he goes lost and found. He's digging through everything. He's all like lost and found items from different games, like the mushroom from Mario, Zangief's spare pair of Zangief shorts. Just my favorite because it's just so mundane and realistic for this video game world. It's just so colorful and wonderful. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, the another thing about that is, again, it's not that I think this film's exactly like Roger Rabbit. I'm saying, it's a great. That's where we get all these video game characters meeting each other, and again, it's game centralization, but also with the bar, it kind of reminds me of that bar from Roger Rabbit, where it was kind of like this. Back in the days of segregation, when people could just they would secretly get together, like a crossing over of worlds, and basically this little night for Daffy. It's like the bar where Daffy Duck and Donald Duck are playing piano against each other. You got Betty Boop, you got some tunes and some humans in the same place, and we got that for Tappers. Again, another just really great thing. All these characters interacting. That moves our story along to Hero's Duty. Bathroom jokes may be included. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to include them. Feel free to. Come on.
Yeah, it's really interesting because on that, what do you think of the sergeant?
Oh, Calhoun.
Yeah.
So it's Tamora Jean Calhoun. So what I like is they don't make her completely hard as nails. I mean, she is basically surfacely and programmed to be hard as nails, but I mean, she does come around towards the end. It's kind of my complaint with my small gripe with Avengers, how they treat Black Widow and that. I just think she should let her guard down a little more. It's like they have some of these women in comics who are just completely hard as they'll shut themselves off to everything, every facet of life. They're just completely all business, all tough, and saying, "Yeah, I'm awesome, and I'm a woman character." I'm just saying, make them, yeah, sure. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I think Avengers has a touch of that. I'm not saying it's a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that character is ruined by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying I think it's a little guilty of that, but a lot of comics are too. I don't know. I'm saying this film didn't do that.
Okay, now we're recording. Go ahead.
Yeah, the thing here is the shape that kind of represents the world is triangles. It's just pointy and just kind of more dangerous, as Ralph says, and this is a great quote, by the way. Just kind of a lot of things that define kind of says a lot about video games today. It says, "When did video games become so violent and scary?" We get that. We get that, and I love how the creator said they looked at Saving Private Ryan when that, the instant the door opens and you see all this madness going on outside, and they have this little black ash, like say if there's like a volcano around and it goes off and it's starting to snow ash. They have that in like every shot of the film, a lot of smoke canisters going off. Then of course all these triangle shapes everywhere, just kind of make it feel like uncomfortable and not just make it feel like a war zone all the time. Just cold, distant war zone. Anyway, it's a really cool environment. Just kind of, these games are kind of separated 10 years apart, so each game is like a different decade in time. Ralph is the 80s, kind of more friendly, it's simpler time. You got the more modern, kind of a little bit of Japanese influence time, 90s.
Mm-hmm.
2000s, we got this new high definition, just kind of going for the realism of things and graphics and kind of shaped by the world a little bit. Again, violent, scary video games, but not it's a bad thing, really. But,
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, 3 decades of gaming, kind of see them in these our 3 main game worlds, which is nice to see. And I think that's all I have to. That's all I have to say about Here's It's a different thing. Warzone. This looks great. It's fantastically animated. The different animation styles. Each world here just looks. Every world looks great. Would you any thoughts?
It is very well defined. They are able to distinguish between different worlds very well. Like, I'm really impressed that they are able to do that, and I'm just like, wow, that's good. They made the world seem, the world of Wreck-It Ralph seem a lot bigger, which I'm really happy that they were able to do. I mean, it's just like, that's so good. You Armenian genius. Well, you American geniuses. Like, Armenian. Why the fuck did I call it Armenian? Anyway, yes, that I really like this movie. But so you want to move on to the characters?
One last game. One that countered, again, with different styles. This game is like the polar opposite of Hero's Duty. And we have a character from Hero's Duty entering it. Sugar Rush.
Oh, I love the visual design of Sugar Rush. It's basically, it's so colorful. If you're a kid, you're gonna love Sugar Rush. And I'm so sad that game doesn't actually exist because it seems like a lot of fun.
Yep. I'm not a kid and I love Sugar Rush.
Oh, everyone loves Sugar Rush. It's basically happiness, injected into your cerebellum. Just like, yay, happy!
Yep, it's Mario Kart, which is a fun game in itself, and Candyland.
Oh yeah, Candyland.
It's just childhood and fun mixed together.
And video games, man, it's amazing, but there's some things are not right in Candyland, Sugar Rush has a dark, underground dictator who's controlling all the good people of Candyland through evil plots of mischief and corruption, yada yada.
That's quite a mouthful.
Indeed. Oh, that's delightful. Anyway, your thoughts?
Oh yeah, Sugar Rush. The design for this world is just so wonderful. A lot of rounded shapes, kind of based off some Swedish designs. Really, it's just so fun, and you have all these a lot of visual gags that work with this visual universe. Like I love the Oreo guys, but
the Oreo guys are fantastic.
Oreo.
Oreo.
And I love
I love that.
I love the ice cream mountain during the race. That's probably my favorite racing track they use.
Oh my god!
They're like the cherry bombs, and it's just this giant ice tundra that is ice cream. It looks delicious.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
I feel bad for people with diabetes watching this film.
Oh my god, yes. They're like, this is poison to me, but it looks so pretty. Oh my god. Anyway, well, let's talk about the character from this wonderful land of candy.
How about we start with you want to start with the character from this land of candy?
Yes, let's start with this character. Let's start with this character from this land of candy.
Okay, we'll start with her. Vanellope von Schweetz. Voiced by Sarah Silverman. very well.
Yes, yeah. I mean, she does a great early late '90s cute character, which is just adorable.
Yeah, she has this element of sass to her, which some people are a little bothered by, or at least they think it goes on a little too long. But I do buy. At first, I had to get used to it. I thought it was just gonna be a funny scene and she's gonna join him along as a side character, but she was more than that. She was like another strong element of the story. She was like she's basically Ralph, but a little girl version, and he basically saw himself in her, and they bonded together and learned from each other during this journey. So she was more important than the trailers led on, and she's a very good character. She's kind of represents the little imperfection we find in ourselves.
Oh yeah,
She's very
she
cute
represents. Oh, she is. It's just, and that's why whenever like something horrible happens to her, it's almost like the China girl from the Wizard of Oz, from Oz the Great and Powerful. That sort of a mentality to her, but it's not really the same because she can take care of herself. But it's still like, everyone is an asshole to her. Why? She's adorable. And I guess it's because mainly because she is a glitch. She is she's glitchy, and so people kind of shun her because of the players in the real world see this glitchy character. The game might be turned off, and well, the world they live in might die. But since she can't escape it, she will die also.
She's the unloved, candy-coated version of Little Orphan Annie.
Oh, totally, totally.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that scene was just so moving when Ralph had to do something really really tough. He had also spoiler alerts later, but spoiler alerts. How can we not give spoilers about this wonderful film? We're going to gush all over. It's just wonderfulness, this film. But getting back to what I was saying, this scene is just really moving, and a lot of people have corrected the scene. I see why. It's just.
I know what you're talking about. It's like you tell it. You tell it.
Okay, here's the setup. Okay, King Candy, or again spoilers, our villain for the film. This guy is a master manipulator. More on him later, but still, this guy, King Candy, what makes him so dangerous is that he really makes you believe this story. He basically says to Ralph, he approaches Ralph, Ralph doesn't want to listen to this guy, because, you sent your guards after me, you're causing me all sorts of trouble. I don't like you. Don't tell me these stuff. Don't try to con me. He says, Ralph, I'm not trying to con you. Here's the story. Well, if the gamers see what's happened to her, they'll think there's something wrong with the game. These glitch. They'll see her glitching. They'll tell. Sorry. They'll see her glitching, and then they'll the owner, Mr. Litwack, he'll say the game's out of order. As he says, no choice, and this character's glitching. That's her ability. She'll be added to the roster. She's driving and digitizing. Then the owner, he's going to shut down the game. When this happens, the standard procedure for it, all game characters are to exit the game, as we've seen with Qbert in the film with his band of merry, colorful characters. They had to exit their game as is being unplugged as the years go by. That happens. Normal occurrence. However, because of her, the game would be unplugged. Everyone would vacate except for her because she can't leave. She is a glitch. At this point, we are led to believe that because she's a glitch, she's basically part of a forgotten level. She's an unfinished character. Again, that's her missing element for the story. And with that, there's this really moving scene in which we see King Candy saying, "She won't be able to go, Ralph." Then we see the plugs coming out of the game. All the data is being deconstructed and sucked into a vortex of darkness. The girl is beating the glass with all she can, crying out for help. But unfortunately, she can't leave through this barrier because she's a glitch, and she gets sucked in, screaming. It's very sad. What's Ralph to do?
It is a very traumatic image, and I think that little part will be forever burnt in this generation's minds. The kiddies will probably see when they're all our age and they'll look back and they have their own crystal internet cube show, but they'll go like, oh man, I remember that movie. It was horrifying. She was sucked into a vortex of death. The future nostalgia critic will cry over this, I'm sure.
Oh yes, he will. So then, what's a Ralph to do? Ralph, he has to do the right thing is to stop her from racing. Because, as you can tell, this is a very valid point King Candy's making, even though he is evil, and we do find out he is not the most trustful of characters. Liar, most likely. Deceitful, yeah. Candy-coated, most definitely. Bingo. But, okay, so Ralph, he does the right thing. He tells the kid the truth, but of course, King Candy has tried to bribe him to leave and to do the job for him. Giving back his medal, his hero's duty medal, which is the only reason he's trained her for this race so he can get it back, but he's bonded with her over time. They've grown to be friends, trust each other, they've taught each other some things. Again, they see a little of each other in themselves. Anyway, she sees the medal as she has made him a medal. One side's the stink brain. The other side, my hero.
Oh, that just tears up the soul. That's like, oh god damn it. That makes everything. Yeah, go ahead. Go right ahead.
Sorry. So Ralph has this burden. She gives him this. Then she finds the medal. And Ralph says, "Look, kid, I can't let you race. You don't know what's going to happen." He says, "I don't care. I can't. You're lying." She just can't hear this. This is all she has. This is her only chance at acceptance, much like Ralph with his medal. So she's just trying to get out of his arms, but he hangs her on a tree, and, well, the cotton candy clouds grow dark. They cover the sun, the artificial game sun, and, well, Ralph has to do a deed. He has her cute little racer car made of very delectable candy-coated delights, and as she's screaming out, saying, "No, please, no!" he has to break it. He does. Every crunch, every crackle, it's a hard scene to watch. He's not enjoying this. She is horrified. She is distraught. She is saddened. What we see is a wreck of dreams. She smashed dreams of candy-coated hope.
Oh,
She's
God. Dude, you're gonna make me cry. Stop, please. Oh God, I'm tearing up here, man.
She's broken the friendship. The friendship has hit a very low point, and Ralph prepares to leave, but she's broken up about this. Ralph now has his medal. He has no friend in this candy-coated world. He has to leave, and he does. He goes back to an empty room. He gets what he wants, but not the way he wanted to. But more on that in a minute. Let's, I'm sorry, Melania. Any more thoughts on Miss Von Schweetz?
Oh God, man, it's just he has to break the little car just so you didn't really know what the hell Blue Dragon 5 was talking about, and the sheer tear jerking pain of it all made you ignore it. Just you had to break her little car. Oh
Yeah.
my God! I'm surprised that the movie actually went in that direction. That's when I think it really turned into a quote-unquote Pixarian film for me, because it's just like you don't expect that from a regular kids movie. Though that's a genuinely tear-jerking, scene.
And that's an equivalent to like Nemo almost dying in the putting the pebble in the shredder in Nemo.
Oh, definitely.
That's like the equivalent to that scene, or like the scene, the "I hate you" scene.
Oh, not really that, because this is a little bit more potent. I think we stopped recording, but here we're recording again. But I think I forgot. I cut out that part. But basically, he has to reinforce to himself and to the rest of the world, because of this action, that he is the villain, and he has no choice in the matter, and that's tragedy.
By the way, Milan, sorry, I have to make you cry because I forgot a key important part of that.
Yeah.
She delivers it home with the one line. She says, very tearfully she says, "You really are a bad guy."
Oh shit, man.
I'm sorry, I had to say it's important.
Yo, man, why'd you have to do that? Shit. I'm crying like a girl now. What the hell? Oh man, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing, man? Shut up, man. I ain't crying. I ain't crying.
Bring it
Get a
in.
tear.
Bring
Shut
it
up,
in.
man. Shut up. I got a thing in my eye, man.
Jeftic, bring it in.
Oh man, just fucking. Oh,
Okay.
motherfucker.
All right.
Shut up. Oh my god.
He's okay, folks. He's okay. He's a good man. He's a good man.
Hey, man. Shut up, man. I'm a man. I like punch things and eat raw meat, man.
Okay. Would it make you feel better if we went on with the next one?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on to a more positive aspect. Let's move on to Ralph.
Mm.
Okay. Ralph, our sympathetic everyman. This guy is just a great character to base a film around.
Definitely.
What sells you on Ralph, Milan?
Just because he's just a workaday schlub. And the world is against him literally because, hey, you're the bad guy, so you must be a jackass. But he's just a lovable guy that's like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna redefine myself and be something, not what I am.
Yeah, just Ralph. Plus his design's really neat. It has these big giant hands, and it's just like this huge.
Oh yeah, very very classic design. Very in the vein of, very in the vein of the classic Nintendo characters.
Yeah. Plus his origin is just plain and simple. He's great in his story. The way I figure it out for these game characters is that their origin plays out, and then they find out they're video game characters just seeing the kids playing on the screen because they can see them out there. So I guess that's their realization moment, like you are a toy from Toy Story.
Yeah, but instead of I like it that they actually skip to the point, like everybody already knows they're a toy.
Yeah, we don't have any Buzz Lightyears in this film.
Oh, good. That's what I like. That's what first stood out for me in this film. Just like straight to the point.
Yeah, don't wrong. That's a bad quality, the Buzz Lightyear quality, but still, it's nice to have things already established.
Yeah, it hits the ground running basically.
Exactly. It's just this established world. We don't question anything. We're just learning as we go along.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Ralph, his origin is just. This guy who lives in a stump and gets moved to a dump which oversees this building. He says, "Well, what's he gonna do?" He says, "I'm angry at these guys. I'm just mad in general. I'm gonna wreck it."
Yep, and he certainly does. He wrecks it all.
Yeah. Doesn't wreck it because he's a bad guy. He wrecks it because that's his job. That's his lot in life. Yeah.
Yes, he is indeed the wrecker of things.
Yep, Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep, and of course, Ralph, again, is just this character. He's not just like completely closed-minded that everyone hates me, I don't care. He's not Eeyore. He's not like an ill-tempered Eeyore. He's just this, an average guy. He's like any of us. He's a really relatable character. And originally, Ralph was designed as a monster, more monstrous and more kind of like
King Kong-like.
Yeah, more King Kong-like.
Yeah, more like a Yeti.
Yeah, bingo. Yeah, originally that, but then the creators decided to make him more human, and that allows us to sympathize or can recognize ourselves in him a little more. Joe was really successful, and it works. And of course, the mundane thing with this guy, he's going to therapy sessions because, look, I'm tired of being characterized as a bad guy. Again, I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. I love that premise. Yeah, again, everything works about this character. It's just really, really good. And of course, he does develop a real friendship with Vanellope. Again, he sees a little bit of himself in this girl.
Oh, definitely. It's the
outcast.
It's kind of like it's like a weird kind of adoption thing. It's like not exactly the father and daughter, but it's more of like a weird kind of blend between that and brother and sister.
Yeah. Something like that. It's like two There's two outcast kids meeting each other on the street, saying, "Hey,
Oh
how's it
yeah.
going?"
Oh totally. There's that. There is that part of it as well. I really like
Also, a neat,
it. Yeah.
sorry, like a neat little thing that starts this friendship is really first you just think she's a little thief. He doesn't like her, but there's this moment where the little girls, they again another kind of sad scene, but it's a realistic thing some kids do, but even in a game, the girls destroy her car because she's different. It's kind of like they're making
Oh.
fun of her disability, so to speak. But
Oh,
anyway.
that scene. Those little. Oh, damn girls be bitches, man. I'm
Those
sorry.
little
Am I
Sour
allowed?
Patch Kids.
Oh, damn. That's horrible. Just like the meanness of it all. Yeah, we're gonna destroy your thing you love and worked on. Ha 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 ha
Oh, and
ha.
she has that line. He says, "Well, what if you're driving?" And she's like all stuck up about it. God, I hate her. Sorry. Anyway, she's like driving. She's like playing with the wheel, and she says, "Oh, what if your disability kicks in? What if you have a glitch?" And it just says glitch, snaps off the wheel.
That is just. That is just. Oh
Then they all
God, man.
commence doing that.
Never have I ever wanted more to punch a little girl in the face.
Well, they do die a little in the last race. Remember?
Well, they don't die. They're more like they
Well, I mean,
get hurt.
they come back. It's their game. It's fine.
I think the best kind of comeback was when she becomes, spoiler alert, she turns out to be the queen of this world. And she's like, I want you all to be executed. And they all just start like, no, please, no.
Then Calhoun
like,
has that line. This place is starting to get interesting.
oh, that's hysterical. And she's like, okay, fine. You may not be executed. And I just love the teary face. They're like, oh, that's priceless.
I was thinking it was just funny when I was watching it like a second time. I was thinking, well, really, yeah, they get executed, but they just get brought back. It's their own game. What's the worry?
Oh, I don't. It just
Killed all the time.
I know, but it's just so hilarious. It's like, yes, execution jokes, hysterical.
Yeah, but again, the moment I mean to get to is sorry, I'm long and drawing about getting to my points here.
Go right ahead. You can interrupt me if you want. I tend to babble on.
I wouldn't dream of it, sir. But the moment for me is it's when the girl pushes her into the chocolate mud, and then Ralph. Think about it. Ralph, every game he gets pushed in the mud.
Oh, shit, man.
The minute she gets pushed in that mud, Ralph acts. He's starting to get a little familiar vibe there, but then the minute she falls in that mud, he just sees it in his eyes. It's in the animation. It's just really a priceless moment. He sees it there. Hey! He runs towards her. Hey, leave her alone! That's just really, really... Oh, and that's a really strong place to come in on their friendship. It's really, really good. And of course they have their ups and their downs. They insult each other at first. One's a thief, one's a stink brain, so to speak. She steals from him. Then they buddy because they have to. Then they become friends, and then they have their big breakup, and they come together at the end. They've gone through all this together. He taught her how to drive, and that's a great scene in itself, and him teaching her how to drive.
I love that scene. It's adorable.
But she keeps hitting him with the car. It's funny physical comedy.
Totally. What else do you want to add to this, or do you want to move on to something to this film?
You want to wait? We're still discussing the characters. Do you mean moving on to a different character?
If you want to move on to a different character, do you have anything else to say about Penelope or the relationship she has with Ralph?
It's really great in the ending. I'll briefly discuss the ending with these two characters. Just the ending. Ralph's just saying, "Oh yeah, everything's good in my life now." After Penelope's now, she's been found out she was a princess all along. King Candy hid it from everyone. Again, spoilers. But but yeah, and then there's this moment where Ralph says, "You know what the best part of my day is? It's when I'm thrown off the building. You know why? Because I get to see the one person who really likes me, and I always see her, and that just brings a smile to my face. I'm not a bad guy."
Yeah, I know. It's so adorable. It's like, it tugs at the heartstrings, man.
Right. Should we hit Fix-It Felix Jr.?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's set up this little, do-gooding buffoon.
Oh, one last thing. John C. Reilly did the voice of Ralph, and he did a very good job. Okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Yep.
Did you have something to say?
I'm waiting. I have nothing to say. I'm waiting for you to start.
Oh, okay. Our next character, Fix-It Felix Jr. Now, this guy is oblivious. He really is. But he has a really good heart. He means well.
Yeah.
I like how they made him a junior, by the way.
Totally.
Yeah, he explains how he got the hammer. They keep mentioning that, and Ralph says that with content at the beginning. He says, yeah, this guy, Fix-It Felix Jr., he's a nice enough guy. He fixes everything with a hammer he got from his father. So it's funny. It's just explaining where he got the hammer and why the junior's in there, because it's just kind of random why he's junior.
Yeah, it's kind of it is an interesting little detail. It helps define this a little bit more. But yeah, if Fix-It Felix, he's just one of those characters that just like he's an oblivious buffoon. He can't do. He's one of those characters like when you're a really young kid and you want to like I'm gonna save the girl. You just go around the playground and like. You see a girl get bullied and you want to stand up there like, leave her alone, and then, you get the shit kicked out of you. It's just a very adorable kind of, too good for his own damn good type of character.
Yeah, it's just this guy, he's not a bad guy, he doesn't see we're treating this guy badly, saying, it's like he's the hero, he's the guy everyone likes, but he's just seeing it from one point of view. It doesn't mean he's a bad guy. It doesn't mean like the real bad guy of the film. I'll get to the real bad guy of the film in a minute. And I'm not talking about King Candy. This guy really bugs me. That comes later. Anyway, Felix Jr. He's just seeing this from one perspective. He's the hero. That's his programming. That's his lot in life. He's not seeing the full picture. And we treat this guy badly, then we should. He kind of gets it in the beginning. He's just kind of trying to ease the thing and say, hey, let's just eat the cake. Does that appease everyone? He's just like, he's paying mind to Ralph. He's saying, hey, Ralph, how's it going? Yeah, we're having a little get-together. And so he doesn't want to invite him because he knows it's going to cause an uproar. And, he doesn't really like Ralph. I mean, it's not he doesn't like Ralph. It's just, he doesn't interact with the guy. It's more like the guy from the workplace says, hey, let's hang out. Yeah,
and he's not a bad in those first scenes. You don't see like he's not really a bad guy. He's just a little bit. It's the problem really is everybody else. Like if those like the residents of that building didn't really if it was just Ralph and Junior, I don't think they really get along quite well. But it's just the building is full of assholes basically.
I get the sense that. It's like they're being coworkers they have been coworkers for 30 years and they know of what they do in the job. It's like Ralph's the bad guy, gets thrown out the building, Felix saves the day. It's like they never really got to know each other. They would probably get along if they knew each other.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's like they heard of each other, but it's kind of like never really had a full conversation. They always just had like basic. Water cooler chatter, like, hey, how you doing? Good.
It's like it's Felix like everyone just assumes that Ralph's a bad guy, and he probably knows that Ralph's not really a bad guy, but just doesn't want to bother getting to know him.
Yeah, not really bother, but he does make give an effort to get all the others to like embrace Ralph a little bit, but it just kind of falls through. Yeah.
Of course, he has the most. I'm sorry.
His real kind of setback is his ignorance.
He's like this Gomer Pyle-ish character. He's a nice guy, respectful. I do enjoy that of his character. And he says, well, ma'am, I'm Fix-It Felix Jr. I can't budge on this matter. I'm going to go with you and find Ralph because I fix what he wrecks.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Again, it's just also he does have a very interesting relationship, and she's charmed by his She's kind of his earnestness, I think. She's kind of just like he's a different guy than she's ever met.
Yeah, we're talking about Calhoun now.
And kind of both of them. We're going to get to Calhoun in a moment after Felix, but, kind of blended together now, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So, yeah, these two have a relationship, and that's kind of what they see in each other. He sees that this girl they're unlike anything neither of them has ever seen before. Like, she's never seen a guy like him, he's never seen a girl like her. They like something about each other, and that's just where attraction comes from for these two. It says, this guy is a nice.
Basically, I think you've kind of skipped over what the heck's going on. Basically, when Felix Jr. Fix-It Felix Jr. comes to Hero's Duty to look for Ralph, he takes Calhoun, the female badass, war captain, with him to try to find Ralph, because Ralph has apparently has been attacked by a cyborg, the main villain in the Hero's Duty, and those things are a virus that tend to spread.
Yeah.
And so Calhoun, takes Fix-It Felix Jr. and they both go on this adventure trying to find Ralph, put him back and kill the cyborg.
Yeah.
But along the way, Felix kind of started to get a little crushy on Calhoun. And Calhoun at first, I just love it. She just finds this completely and utterly annoying, and she's like, just stop. She's so annoyed by him. But then he calls her, what was it, a right gal?
You're a dynamite gal.
Oh, dynamite gal. And she just starts having freaking flashbacks.
Post-traumatic stress.
Post-traumatic stress disorder about her freaking last boyfriend. He kept calling her, you're a dynamite gal.
It's just the sequence. It makes me laugh.
Oh my god.
You're and here's the funny thing, I keep noticing every time I rewatch it. They're in the works, they're in like the battle suits, like the armor, whenever they're on a date. Just these most mundane situations, they're drinking milk smoothies, says, you're a dynamite gal. It just quickly flashes to like they're drinking wine and we're on picnics, says, you're a dynamite gal. And just proposing, you're a dynamite gal. And then of course the wedding, but they're not in the suits when they need to be in the suits.
And then the cyborg comes and she just pulls out a freaking machine gun and starts firing at it. Where the hell did she get that gun?
Do you really know?
No, I don't. It's video game logic. They pull out large objects out of nowhere all the time. So
exactly.
You have a dirty mind.
No, I'm just saying it's like hammer space. I don't want.
I know hammer space. That's cool. But basically,
Felix has hammer space.
yeah. But basically, she's programmed. Well, Calhoun is programmed with the most tragic of backstories.
Best line in the movie.
I love it. It's it's hysterical.
That is my favorite part.
Oh yeah, the way we've been describing this movie, it seems like all doom and gloom and seriousness, but this movie is freaking hilarious.
I know, I just recognize instantly in that this is just so, it's just the absurdity of this makes it so darn hilarious, and that is perfectly fine, because it is just so, again, it's just so great, just so quirky and funny, and it's just, she's at a wedding, then the giant cyborg breaks in, eats her groom, and then she pulls out in a slow motion shot this Gatling gun.
Oh, it's hysterical.
This Gatling minigun sort of thing. It's just great.
Oh, it's freaking hysterical, man.
It is. It is so. I just
love
part of the film.
I know. Oh my god, I love. It's all in post-traumatic stress disorder. It's oh my god, that's hysterical. And then she's kind of freaks out and says, Felix, get out. They're why? I'm Felix, get out. Oh, it's hysterical. I love how Felix goes and Calhoun goes your face is all red. I shouldn't have hit you that hard. And he's oh, this is not pain, my dear. This is just the honey glow in my cheeks. I'm oh, that's so cute. I never really heard that expression, honey glow in my cheeks.
She gives me the honey glows, Ralph.
Oh, that's hysterical. That's hysterical.
Well, we can talk about Calhoun. We can finish on Calhoun in a minute, but at first I just have one thing to say about Felix. One last thing to say about Felix, and I think we can move on to Calhoun.
Yeah. I think we talked pretty much about Calhoun.
I think we got at least like one or two things about Calhoun, then we can go to
Yeah.
our villains of the piece.
Oh,
Anyway,
definitely.
one last thing with Felix is that originally the film was conceived with the notion that Felix was going to be the main focus. However, the creators, being brilliant as they are, they thought, this villain guy is interesting. What if he didn't want to be a bad guy? That it just took off from there. But originally, Felix, in the original concept of the film, Felix was going to track down Ralph to the hero's duty game, but he was going to save the day, and everyone's going to love him. That's when Calhoun started to notice him. And then, then Ralph broke out, and then they tracked him down to. Felix tracks him down to hero's duty, and then it's those two characters interacting, starting to become friends, but he's still oblivious towards the beginning that he feels the way he does. But it's the three of them, including Vanellope. So those three are together for the second and third act of the film. Then Calhoun comes in the picture, third act. That's originally Felix's lot in the game, just more oblivious, but kind of stealing Ralph's thunder, even when he's trying to change because of Felix and because of just the game and how he's perceived. Though it's interesting that Felix, also he was voiced by Jack McBrayer. Again, he did this wonderful, like, Ernest Huell-Hauser sort of thing. It was just not as southern. You're like, that's amazing. Thank you, man.
Kind of like that New Yorker goody two shoes kid from the 1950s.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah.
I love it. It's strange enough because if you're not a video game fan, you wouldn't. And I'm really just kind of stealing this from the blows himself up dude. No, not blows himself up dude. Movie Bob who mentioned this, but they're kind of shipping Mario and that big, masculine chick from Gears of War, which is kind of weird. Like that's weird, but still hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you got the classic, guy saves the princess type of hero, paired up with like the ultimate female badass. They can do, that's more competent than he is, which is just hilarious to me.
It's like Linda Hamilton from the Terminator.
Oh, definitely. It's like Prince Charming and Linda Hamilton, the Terminator lady. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
I think we can move on to Calhoun and just finish up on her. Again, she is my favorite. Other than Ralph, she's my favorite character of the film. Again, that backstory is just perfect. Jane Lynch does such a great voice, and the character is kind of modeled after her and just done. I love her design. I love, again, like Felix says, so the HD. This character, I love the design of this character. I love the voice of this character. Everything about this character just works for me, and her arc does very much impress me. She does come around. It's not like she just brushes this guy off. No, she does actually hear, man. She does like him towards the end, and they get married. And of course, the hilarity of it all, they're prepared this time. All the lasers on the panes of the glass,
Oh yeah, but the thing is, God, what was I gonna say? It's hysterical because I've seen I was at this coffee shop bookshop type of place, and they had the art, and they had the like a hardback book of Wreck-It Ralph concept art, and basically I'd looked at some of the character designs of her, and it was just she had like this weird kind of she was black at one point, with this swoopy 80s type of hair with an eye patch, which was quite cool actually. And it was just some really interesting character designs that the mask, the headgear was kind of different. She had like this weird thing that came up to her neck, and it just really fascinating. It made her look a lot younger, by the way.
Yeah.
But but I like they really kind of made her look like Lynch, basically, like the actress who voiced her.
Yeah.
It's basically a cartoonified Lynch, but a little bit, bit younger. But it still looks so cool. So
Yeah.
it's interesting how when they designed the characters after the actors who are playing them. Sort of. It's just when it does happen, it's interesting.
Yeah, that happens in animation a lot. It's usually just because they record the recording sessions and they kind of study the facial animation and put it in there. But usually, sometimes it is intentional. But I think most design in this case might have been intentional, particularly for this character. I don't know. The blonde hair kind of makes her look more like Jane Lynch, I think.
Oh, definitely. And the facial structure and the kind of the lips and the nose, it does definitely look like a cartoonified James Lynch.
It's like how
Jane
Dory
Lynch.
looks like Ellen in Nemo. That one comes from the animation of the face.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, again, just I absolutely adore this character. I really do, and I like how she comes around in these parts. Like you had this moment, the Laffy Taffy, when she first of all she hits Felix to snap mad of it. She's still tough as nails. She has all these. She's programmed with all these phrases like, "Don't get your kittens in a bunch," or something like that. Like stop being a whiner. You're gonna follow me, you grunts, into battle. That sort of thing.
It kind of like a weird kind of kid-friendly, well, drill sergeant sayings
Yeah.
that are they're just hilarious. Just some of the stuff he says, it's like that's hysterical, but still kind of badass. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and it's like Arlie Army from Full Metal Jacket and the Sarge, who also voiced the Sergeant in the Toy Story films.
That's cool.
Yeah. And again, that's just great. And there's this moment where she hits him to snap him out of it. Then she says, you're a nice guy. I want to hit you. I love that moment.
I know, it's great.
It really breaks up the little love Laffy Taffy thing with just like the gunshot in the air. That just cements how awesome she is.
Oh, definitely.
And again, she comes around the end. Fantastic character. I think that's all I have to say about her.
Oh, definitely. She's just hysterical. But really great chemistry with Fix It Felix, though. So you want to talk more about the villain?
Oh yeah, King Candy.
King Candy and of course, the other you said villains, and I think I know who's the other guy you were talking about.
Oh yeah, this guy. Oh boy, do I hate this. This second guy I hate more than King Candy. I mean, hating that I hate him because he's a good villain, but still, this one guy. Ooh, I'm gonna get to him in a minute.
Go right ahead, my friend.
Want me to get to him first before King Candy?
Yeah, before King Candy, because
Right.
he starts off. He's the beginning of it all.
Oh yeah. Cool. No, sorry, not. It's Gene. Bum bum bum. Gene, this little Nicelander in the beginning, and the reason this is one guy who just really this guy really doesn't like Ralph. He's the guy who basically treats him like a villain, most obviously. I mean, he's direct about how he feels. He's pointing out the obvious. Like, the people are just uncomfortable around Ralph, and they're kind of being nice about it because they're Nicelanders after all. But this guy, Gene, he just throws a wrench into everything, and he's the reason all this stuff goes down. I suppose we should be a little thankful to Gene, maybe, but still, he's the reason our guy's been feeling bad about himself all these years. And also, I do find really funny that the reason Gene doesn't like Ralph, really, is that in the opening of the game, when Ralph's like throwing people out of the building, he throws Gene out the window. That's hilarious, and that's a good explanation for it. But still, I mean,
like, oh my god, it's like, well, of course he wouldn't like him. He's the one who gets thrown out the first. Like, God damn it!
Yep. Oh man, Gene. God.
Oh Lord.
Gene
is an asshole, though.
He is really. I mean, this guy really irks me. I'm just saying, every time I watch the film a second time, I'm always screaming when I'm around friends, like, yes, you should feel. This is your fault, Gene. This is all your fault.
You're a prick! You're a prick!
Darn you, Gene. Darn you to heck. Anyway, plus I can tell he's an alcoholic.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I mean, he eats rum cake, and he's drinking martinis when Ralph comes back.
Oh my god, dude, it's hysterical. He's just such a freaking prick.
Yep. And it's just this counter opposite to what a bad guy would look like. He's just always. I find it really funny that people overlooked Gene. They said, "Oh yeah, King Candy, man, he's a real bad guy." See, yeah, there's King Candy. I mean, he's a good villain, but I mean, you're forgetting the real menace here, Gene. This little mustachio menace. I mean, come on. My God. And plus, there's this moment in the film where he basically tells Ralph, like, kind of off himself.
Oh, that's fucked up.
I know, it's just like, there's this really cold scene. It's really this calm scene. So Ralph gets back, he's still recovering from his fallout with Vanellope, but still now he's starting to feel better, and so he got what he wanted, he's just...
Okay, then we're recording again. Go ahead.
So he enters the penthouse as he was promised. He goes, "Hey, everybody!" But it's empty. No one's there except for Gene. God. Anyway, so Gene's there. He's calmly making himself a martini. You know, putting a little olive in there, just drinking it. Says, "Hello, Ralph. Welcome back." He's just all calm, cool, like he's like this little Hannibal Lecter, little toddler-sized menace. Good, I hate him. Sorry. Anyway, so you get this guy. He's making the martini. He's just there, and he's basically saying, "Yeah, all the game's on its way out because Felix went looking for you, Ralph. Your fault, Gene. Sorry." Anyway, so he's just cementing in, and yeah, this is all your fault, Ralph. Our game's going. It's going to be gone. Thanks to you. We're being shut down. By morning, we're going to be shut down. Because of your exit, because everything. He says, "I got the medal, like you said." "Oh, yeah, you're a big hero now, aren't you?" Oh, God. It's all Gene's fault. I think, God. I hate him like Michael Scott hates Toby from The Office. Anyway, so there's the moment. Anyway, so basically says Ralph was promised a pen. Now, Gene, Ralph's starting to feel bad now. He really is. Saying, "Oh man, I didn't mean for this to happen. Gene, I just did this because you told me I would live in the penthouse. You know, I'd be a hero and stuff. You said I couldn't do it. You know." He says, "Well, you did, Ralph, man." He finishes off the drink. He puts it on the bar upside down. He says, "Well," and he grabs his lapels like Bane. He says, "Well, I'm a man of my word." Pulls out the key. And there's really nice, this old film-style toss, by the way. Another thing to check out in this scene. In his 8-bit animation, which I'm going to get to in a moment, but still. This 8-bit animation, which is really cool. He takes out the key, he tosses it, but then it cuts to like an actual film. When you're like a Back to the Future style film, you know, like, or Roger Rabbit style, you know, it's just inventive film techniques. He throws, then we cut to Ralph, like another side of a scene. He catches it in normal animation. Just this little cut, sorry, just thought I'd mention it. It's just like 8-bit to regulars in one cut. And it looks like just two sides of the same frame anyway. So yeah, then he just says, "Well, I hope you enjoyed, Ralph." Gene moves out, grabs his little suitcase, walks out defiantly. He walks out, and Ralph is feeling miserable because of Gene. I mean, yeah, he basically said, yeah, the game's going to be digitized, everything's going to go. Stay, Ralph. Enjoy it. Man, oh man, this Gene. God. And I love just my little, there's a moment I get kind of, me and anyone else who feels this way about Gene or knows Gene's a bad guy. It's kind of obvious in the film, but this bit where, of course, Ralph, he doesn't like Gene himself because they have this relationship. Even Ralph says, "Hey, Gene." He's kind of sarcastic with Gene at first when he enters the building because he knows Gene isn't happy to see him there. But the moment where Ralph's picturing his fantasy life, everyone's like on the building, they're celebrating Ralph and say, "Hey, Ralph, we love you, man." They're in the party celebrating, he's dancing. But then you see Gene in Ralph's home. He has little Coke bottle glasses. It's the 8-bit cries, which are hilarious.
Yeah,
it's kind of Gene's come up. And sorry about my little Gene rant here. Go ahead, Milan.
Oh no, it's hysterical. You're just like fuming with anger, like, "God damn it, Gene! God damn it,
Gene!"
You just shake your fist at the heavens as a lightning storm rages behind you.
It's kind of like what I say for technical difficulty. "Curse you, Dooms Vince, in your Mountain Dew flavored brand of evil." Curse
anyway,
you, heck.
You want to talk
But I think let's get to our actual villain. I've ranted long enough. Unless you have anything to say about Gene, because I'd be welcome to.
Oh no, you think you covered it pretty well.
Okay, let's get to King Candy.
Oh, Candy. Candy's a prick.
Yep.
Oh God, he's an insufferable prick.
What makes him such a good villain is that he's two things. He's a master manipulator, and he's a good showman.
Oh, definitely.
You are entertained by this guy. However, he still is a really rotten villain. He's a rotten candy. He's candy. He's bad candy. He's like the candy you get it for Halloween, but he's just left it there for like 30 years.
Yeah, he's teeth rot, and he is teeth rot, immortalized.
He's pure cavity.
He's sweet as arsenic.
Yep.
So go right ahead. Explain us, who exactly is this King Candy?
King Candy is, again, spoilers, I'm just going to go through the origin here. You see King Candy, we have this mystery, not really mystery, we hear this character being mentioned at the beginning when Ralph's just saying, I'm unhappy where I am in life, I'm tired of being seen as the bad guy, I want to leave my game. I don't want to be the bad guy anymore, I want to leave my game. He says, but you're not going turbo on me, are you? He says, no. And turbo is a term they use when someone leaves their game, and they try to bring it down. Or they bring down more than one game. That's what turbo means, because there was this character, this black, not black, I was going to say black and white, but I mean this white and red little racer guy. Simple game, it's like it's a little driving game. Anyway, so his game gets shut down, as many games do. Like Cubert's game, not because they're bad, just, times change. Or new games become more popular. Anyway, so he's embittered, and what he does is, because of this, he exits his game like standard procedure, exit the game so you don't get deleted. What he does is sinister. He leaves his game because of this. He enters another racing game, well, that they're doing their racing stuff, and he's just in there, just like distracting them, making the players wreck. So that game has to be shut down because that's a glitch. That's a major glitch right there in the eyes of the players, saying, this little jerky character is not supposed to be there. He keeps going there, makes me wreck my car. Shut the game down. That happens. He took down 2 games in one day, basically. Well, 2 games got taken down one day because of this little jerky character. So we find out that King Candy, this wonderful candy-coated character, his voice is an impression of Edwin, the actor who played the Mad Hatter in the Alice in Wonderland films. Ralph Garman does a really good version of him on Hollywood Babylon. Kind of a shameless plug, but they do good stuff with it. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Anyway, this Edwin-ish character is this happy-go-lucky character, Ralph. Life is for the living, Ralph. That sort of guy. This wonderfully wacky guy. He's basically the mayor of Candyland, so to speak. And anyway, this guy, he just rules everything. He doesn't like Vanellope. We don't know why. He's basically trying to say, you can't enter the contest, Vanellope. You can't enter it. So basically trying to keep her out of this game. We don't know what reason, but we all just assume it's because she's a glitch, because it's kind of like this. We don't like her because of her disability. We don't like her because she wasn't supposed to be here. We don't like her at all because she's different. That's right. We think it's that way, but there is an underlying reason. We find out that Turbo entered this game long ago when it was first being put up. He found a way to get into like the inner code of the game, and he rewrote the programming. And Vanellope was the princess of this game, the ruler, ruler princess. He unplugged her little connecting points of data, so everyone forgot about her, and basically he gave her the glitch. So she wasn't a glitch character. He made her that way. So he makes her this way, and basically everyone forgets that she's princess. So he's the only guy that knows this. And that's his evil plot. Now he made himself king, basically. So everyone just remembers that he's king and that she never was supposed to exist. Hence the glitch. Anyway, so of course you can't let her race, and he's just this bad guy. And of course we went into detail over the scene about how
basically, if she races, the game will be rebooted to its original setting, and she will become princess again. And yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, later on we have this reveal, which is really good because this little detail that whenever she touches something for an extended period of time, or like she kind of concentrates a little bit, it's involuntary for the most part until later on in the film when she controls it. She kind of glitches up things, like it will kind of temporarily glitch a character, but she holds on to King Candy for a little long during the scuffle in the third act, and she sees his true face, and everyone sees his true face. Turbo. Sees his face as Turbo, this character, he goes on about, his plan. He wanted to rewrite the game, and he became the villain, became King Candy. He wants to eliminate Vanellope so he can continue his rule. And later on he gets his comeuppance. Well, he's part one of 2 comeuppance. He gets eaten by a cybug. The ability of the cybug is it eats anything and it adapts. It has an adaptability. technology. Yeah. Basically, you can eat a weapon. The bug with grow weapons eats candy. It becomes candy-coated bug. It eats king candy. And, well, it's nightmare fuel to say the least, folks.
Oh yeah, definitely. And
It's
the
what John...
the last fight between King Bug Candy and Wreck-It Ralph it always reminds me of a Spyro the Dragon boss fight. It's on the top of a volcano. It's like, there's a round circular thing and there's a big scary villain in the middle of it. But it's a very, classic PlayStation 2 type of game villain. But I love the scene where basically Ralph has to fall down in order to say, King Candy thinks he beat him. Basically, what Ralph has to do, he has to fly down, or he has to drop down on the Mentos mount, top of the volcano, and it's a volcano made of fizzy pop. So if the Mentos fall down, they just explode. Basically, he just falls, to the ground and trying to break through this, wall of Mentos. And it's strange because when he's falling, he does this Superman, whole, fist out, flying type of a thing. He's like, I'm a bad guy. I understand that now. It's one of those things. It's like that made me cry. I don't care to admit it. Just like, God damn it, man, because I
It
love
reminds me of the Iron Giant scene.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anything that reminds me of Superman makes me cry.
Yep. Yeah, and he's clutching the little medal that Vanellope made him.
Oh yeah.
Stinkhead, then my hero. Oh.
Oh.
Then he's plummeting to his sacrificial death, and then Vanellope saves the day at the last minute because they do set it up really well by a classic Sonic PSA, which I found funny, and I'm sure some others did.
Oh, definitely.
He basically gives the PSA that if you die and if you don't die in your own game, you're not coming back. So play it safe, guys. That sort of thing.
I
and
love
basically,
that.
we're expecting him to die. Also, Sonic's in he's in Game Central Station in a few places, so you can find him there, and he's at the wedding at the end. But anyway, yeah. So we have that set up. So we're expecting Ralph to die, and I expected like a Pokemon-ish resurrection for Ralph. Like he dies and then he comes back because like some tear or something. Anyway, so basically, Vanellope, she saves the day. Wonderful scene. This friendship has paid off. This friendship is just strong as ever. It's back. They save each other. He makes her a real character, kind of like a real boy for Pinocchio, but a real person now, a real game character, not a glitch anymore. For Vanellope, just and of course King Candy. In an ode to my favorite not my favorite, one of the really great Pixar films, a really great Pixar moment. I kept thinking of this when I saw it. The way they stop it all is they have the reason Ralph does this is to create a beacon. Because that's the only way that you can defeat a cyborg. It's like a bug zapper. They see a bright light in the sky, and they all go towards it, and they get zapped. So, and that reminds you of the scene in Bugs Life. It says, "Don't look at the light, Harry." He says, "I can't help it. It's so beautiful." Zap. Sorry. Love the scene. And so anyway, Ralph does that. He makes the beacon, he's saved now, but now all the cyborgs come back, and King Candy's like racing towards him so she can get Vanellope before she crosses the line, but then he kind of snaps out of it. He snaps from Turbo and back. His face keeps changing, but he switches back to King Candy, and he's like, his eyes go all enticed by the bright lights. It's so beautiful. Must go into the lies. No. That's his comeuppance. He dies in a carbonated death. He dies a carbonated death.
Yeah, man. He gets eradicated, which is just damn. And since he's not he's not technically part of this world, he ain't coming back. He's dead. They're no responding for this mofo.
Yeah, this guy, he deserves what he got. Also, another thing about King Candy is I compare him, again, forgive me for all these Pixar comparisons, but I think there's some validity to it. That's just me. But there's this, one comparison I find is to the Prospector from Toy Story.
Okay, we're recording now again. Go ahead.
So again, like the Prospector, he is set up to be trusted. And that, he goes to Ralph and he says, "Look, she'll die if this happens. We've been through this many times. Anyway, she'll die if this happens. We trust him, we believe him, because he's just compelling his acting for this. It's just, again, the showman, the manipulator, the master manipulator here. We buy it, he has good reasoning behind it. It's a really well-conceived story. And then we find out, he is really a bad guy. At first, he's just after Penelope, but he had a reason for it. But now we find out, he was really bad all along. I mean, wow. It's like the Prospect. And that Prosper's very subtly manipulating Woody throughout the film, trying to convince him subtly, stay with us. Come on, stay with us. You can be loved forever here,
Yeah.
That sort of deal. And then, of course, you find out he's a really bad guy who was just embittered by the fact he wasn't wanted. Again, another thing the two characters have in common. It's just, they've just been embittered by the fact they're not wanted. Prospect wasn't bought. His game was shut down because it just wasn't popular anymore. Yeah. I think that's all I got to say about King Candy. I think we go into a few side characters because there are a bunch of them, but, just a few if you'd like.
Well,
I only got too many characters to go with if you.
I think we covered all the main ones and all the side characters with who I will not mention his name out loud. Well,
I gotta mention Sour Patch, real quick. Sour.
Go ahead.
I love Sour Patch. He's just this I love his design. I love everything about him. He's just a little Sour Patch sidekick to the king. Little green gumdrop, sour gumdrop. I love and he has some mark. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
He's like this. I love his design. He's just like this little floating gumdrop. He has his little hands, and some other characters like the marshmallow controller guys at the race. They're kind of like they have these little hands that are floating in midair. They kind of go around. It's kind of like Raymond's design from the old games, but it's floating. But anyway, I just love the Sour Patch, and of course an interrogation that comedically rivals the Dark Knight interrogation. He licks him.
Oh God!
Don't stick me back in your filthy mouth again.
Oh, he's so she's so depressed. She's like, I love the eyes. They're like, it's like, when he has the eyes of everyone who has to wake up like early in the morning and to go to work. He's like, life is awful. I'm covered by this. That's how every diabetic who watches Candyland, that's like,
he's not the only diabetic living in Sugar Rush. It's basically
exactly
life. And anyway, this guy, he's really funny the way he's played, and he's designed well. And that interrogation scene is just hysterical. And he captures Fix-It Felix. Says, "Oh yeah, another Ralph. I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice." He's like Eeyore mixed with Mr. Sunshine from Cat Dog. It's just really funny. It's a nice little character. Also, I was gonna say Cubert, but Cubert's this little nice character, a little homeless character on Game Central Station because his game was shut down. And it looks like he gets his game back in the end, which I would hope for because this guy's he's a little cute character, nice guy.
It's Cubert.
He moves the plot forward.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with Cubert. He's adorable.
Yeah. And the Cubert he's seen as fun. That's all I have to say about side characters, so
Oh yeah, and like at the end he gets Ralph takes him into his game and adds extra villains, which is cool. So everything turns out alright in the end, obviously, and I love the little end sequence, the music, and it all turns out into pixel fireworks. I've seen this on the big screen, and I just loved how beautiful it looked.
Yep. Oh yeah, the animation for this film
is fantastic. It's fantastic. Yeah. So, what's your ending thoughts on this?
Well, my ending thoughts on this. Well, I have two nitpicks with the film. Yeah. I have to say at least one thing negative about this film because I do absolutely adore this film. Yeah. It isn't really even a problem with the film. It's only a problem with the way it was marketed. That's my only gripe with the film. Basically, the gripe is that we could have used more because it was just so wonderful. I want more of this film. That's really the only gripe. Everyone's gripe with this film is that the marketing is that
it only explores only 3 worlds, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Because the way it was marketed, I think, was we're gonna see more of all these game characters, which I didn't expect. But I mean, at first I thought they were gonna just be in that one scene, but then they kind of marketed that they're gonna be in the game, and that was gonna be game jumping, like more than again he's gonna meet Vanellope. Then she was going to tag along his journeys through a bunch of different games, finding his place. That's what I was expecting, and that would have been great too. But what we got was fantastic. I'm just saying, more worlds, just more of this universe, is fun. And again, that's the only negative thing I have to say about the film. We didn't get enough of it, and everyone's complaining about the cameo characters, which we got, but they wanted more of. But again, we just need more of this film. Which brings me to my next point.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't a cameo film. It didn't need them. But the cameos were just an extra, sprinkling of sugar.
Yeah, but it kind of leads to my next thing. What do you think about sequels or spin-offs? You for them?
I'm for them. I'd like to see more of this film, more of this universe, because it's a very fascinating look into the, video games. But I don't think it'd be a difficulty to make it good because they kind of wrapped everything up so nicely.
Well, what if it was a different character? I'm saying a different character, but we can still have Ralph in the gang there. I'm just saying, like, we have like a new protagonist. Again, it's like a spin-off, but we have a new protagonist going through all the different game universes, but we also have Ralph there, maybe join along, or at least being in the universe.
Zangief, a spin-off with Zangief. I don't know. I'd love to see more of this world. Maybe like shorts, like they did with Toy Story. It's not like they make whole new movies.
That definitely would work. Definitely that would work, yeah.
Yeah, like, so shorts are great. Another film would be great, but I'd love to see what they would do if they had, the same writers. But at this other time, I don't want to have like a Disney sequel virus to infect it.
Yeah, that's worse than a Cybug.
Indeed.
Yeah,
so
I'm just seeing more of this universe. If they have a good story behind it, I'm 100% behind it, which I hear they are going on with the sequel. Again, that's really speculation at this point, but I could be wrong. But I hear like Mario was attached to do a sequel if the rumors I hear are true, which I would hope for if they have a good story behind it,
If the script is sound and if they take the same visual team, I'd love to see a sequel done. But yeah, so that's pretty much it.
I guess. Again, overall, I absolutely adore this film. It's like a new Toy Story for a new generation. That's just not just in that it's a new Toy Story, but more in that it takes storytelling to a new level, to a level that is just really wonderful, sincere. It's just really good stuff, taking interesting ideas and concepts. I can only hope for more of this from the Walt Disney Studio. I can only hope it's just I find it as a door opening for new possibilities. A new era of animation, of great storytelling caliber that was like the 90s with Pixar and forward, and that's what I hope for Disney. I wanted to say that I thought this was a Pixar film. I want to say that about Disney. I really do want to say that. Even if it's 2D, because I wouldn't mind 2D return. I just want storytelling of this caliber.
Definitely. So hopefully this shows a whole new mark for Disney animation. And if the thing is, I love this movie. It looks beautiful, but so Pixar, the quality of Pixar is sort of being embraced by the Disney studio, and I love Disney. And if they can embrace this level of, storytelling and this type of character development to other projects, I'd love it. But I love 3D art, the Pixar 3D animation is fantastic. But it'd be great if they can incorporate the same sort of storytelling techniques to a hand-drawn film. Like that would be great. I want to see a hand-drawn film, done by Disney. I think I'm not against having CGI films, in the vein of Pixar, but Disney is more the hand-drawn guys and Pixar is more the CGI guys. But anyway, I love this film. New level of, quality. I completely agree. And yeah, this has been Milanjeftic1992 and
wait. I'm so sorry, but we have to give a rating.
All right. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20. What have you?
I say 5 out of 5. Really, I want to say 6 out of 5. Heck, I want to say 100 out of 5. But let's stick with 5 out of 5. Continue with your closing, sir.
This has been Milanjeftic1992, and hey, this is your video. You do the closing.
I gotcha. Sorry. Well, folks, I've had another pleasant chat with Milanjeftic1992. This has been a discussion with him and myself, more like just with him, from myself, on Wreck-It Ralph, another great film, hopefully first of many coming from Disney Studio. Thank you for joining us, and take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Goodbye, folks.
Take care. A brief segment if you'd like, you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm recording now. Blue Dragon 5 has asked me to give my opinion on Paperman. Paperman is that first little short before, Wreck-It Ralph. That short, it's so incredibly charming, and that's the caliber of short filmmaking. People say that oh, you can't tell a cohesive heartwarming story in such little time, but there are no words, and it's basically a silent film about a guy wanting to get a girl's attention, and it's done in the way like in this black and white 50s style, and it made me cry. I know it's not easy to make me cry, but it is. But it's so heartfelt and adorable, and it just, God damn it, man, Disney, you're starting to make me feel like a kid again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, what about you? What you think of it?
I was absolutely floored by this film. It shook me to my core in that I saw again, it was just, they blended 2D and 3D animation, hand-drawn and computer-generated animation perfectly. And they tried to do that with Tangled, and they did a good job capturing the feel of it. But I mean, here they succeeded 110%. I mean,
definitely.
Well, plus, again, the storytelling. I know I'm fascinated by the animation on this, but still, the storytelling here is just, it's a good story to go along with this animation. Like, think about it. The coloring is perfect. Paper, black and white. Kind of got red on there with the female, black, white, red all over, ha ha ha. But this again, it's a simple story, simple concept. This guy, he runs into a beautiful girl, beautifully designed and drawn girl. It's this regular average Joe, like you or myself or anyone, like any guy, relatable. He bumps into a beautiful woman. Has his papers. He's obsessed with his work. Well, not obsessed with. He has a job like any one of us. He works something involving paper. I can only assume business.
Let's not spoil it for them, because let's just say it's something to be experienced. It's nothing that neither me nor Blue Dragon 5 could fully relate the feeling of this film. So
you're right. Exactly. Sorry.
Just go out and see it, man.
Go out, see it. Fantastic film. Again, just really heartwarming. Good storytelling mixed with good animation. Opens possibilities to, I don't know what. Design of this film is great. Got some 50s cars, 50 universe. Really great stuff. A lot of really funny gags. I was very, very entertained with this film. Great short by Disney. Wonderful stuff. Again,
yeah.
Pixarian caliber storytelling here. Just great stuff. Fantastic. I'm going on in circles here, but again, just great, great stuff. Fantastic short. It deserved the Oscar it got. I mean, wow.
Yeah. I think it's if you can find it, I think it's free on YouTube now. So Blue Dragon 5, if you can link then the short in the underbar or whatever it's called, in the link bar or whatever, that would be great.
Okay. Well, if it's still free, I'll link it, definitely.
Oh, definitely. Well, see you guys.
See you, folks.